My name is Kaulika and I was born 17 years ago, on January 23rd, 2003 to be exact. I was born in a crowded rural area of East Jakarta and moved to Bekasi as soon as I turned 2. My dad is a government employee and he was also born in the same area as me, while my mom was born in Sukabumi, West Java. I am the second child and I have one older sister and one younger brother. I speak Indonesian and English. My hobby is digital drawing, graphic designing, visual designing, and anything related to those. I also like to do culinary traveling, although I haven't gone to too many places. I like writing and reading. I've plenty of books and I read before I got to bed. I don't quite like to do sports, but I do like dancing. I thought I could make dancing as a substitute for sports since it requires a lot of energy too. I like to listen to the music, and my biggest impactful artist is a group of singers and dancers called 17. I would say they and their music helped me a lot during my hard times. They inspired me to make every effort possible on what I love to do. As for a role model, I always have B.J. Habibie in my mind when it comes to education. Growing up in such a loving family, we were never ever caught in a big fight. Yes, we do argue a lot, but it's never went as far as fight. My father often jokes around, and my mother isn't the type to raise her voice on her kids too. My family liked to gather around during weekends and do some things together. We were always dumbfounded by my father's silly and unfunny jokes. Though he liked jokes, he never gave us a good one, but we loved it. It's what's unique about him. Since I was little, I have shown my parents my interest on numbers and drawings. I believe I adopted my parents' brilliant brains, especially my mom. I was always curious about how numbers and equations worked. My parents and my sister would be annoyed since I asked them so much questions. I could memorize things easier than most of the people do. I started to read at 3 and I could do simple mathematics equations up until division before I went to the playground. So overall, my school life in playground was boring, I would say. I helped my teacher teach my friends to read, and there was not much else besides that, really. Every other day, I would go home and complain to my mother that school is so boring. I was the kind of girl who my friends' moms talked about a lot. I was so passionate about learning, and I have shown good grades. So, especially during my elementary school, my teachers always sent me to the competitions. At school, the biggest challenge was how to balance my school stuffs and the competitions I participated. Sometimes I should go to the other city to compete, so I kind of neglected my school stuffs. But nevertheless, I did great. Nothing was really seemed difficult. I didn't only partake in academic contests, but I also won some drawing contests and scout contests. I was an active and an energetic girl who was bad at sports but would take all the chances and opportunities about the things I liked. What stood out the most during my times at school was me winning an award for the National Little Doctor in 2012. I worked with a hand soap brand from Unilever to spread awareness about washing hands. I did some campaign, I showed up on TV to talk about washing hands on some health programs because I was this country's young representative of washing hands. It was very challenging to me because I have to hold a big responsibility at such a young age, but it was a great challenge. I got to study some things I couldn't get from school, and I got to meet impressive people on my journey of being the National Little Doctor in 2012. I also got to get some money that I saved for my future further education. While I was arguably so good academically, reflecting back, I didn't do well on my social life. I was originally shy, and I didn't have the courage to open up to new friends. I talk well though, I just didn't really feel comfortable around so many people. So even though everyone knew me as the smart girl from the next class, I didn't really have much friends. I kept my social circle as little as possible. But as time went on, I realized that I have to change this lack of social skills in order to improve myself. So in high school, I decided to try to get into the student council. I thought the student council was a good assembly to socialize with. It was hard for me at the start. I couldn't even bring myself to speak up every time I needed to. The other reasons were because so many people wanted to get in and their speaking ability were so much better than me, but I tried it out anyway, and surprisingly, I managed to be elected as the dorm president of my school. And from there, I constantly took the learning opportunities on how to be better on expressing myself and interact with a lot of people in a professional environment. Ironically, my worst and my breakdown moments also happened in high school. In the first 3 semesters of the first grade, I was diagnosed with appendicitis and I had to be absent for more than 1 month. Not only appendicitis, my gastric pain went worse. From there, I got diagnosed that my gastroesophageal reflux disease, or we call it GERD, that was cured, came back. So I was so stressed out because I left so many happenings in school and I couldn't catch up. My school applied 3 curriculums in 3 years, so we had to study faster than most of the school actually do. So when I came back to school and went back to live in the dormitory, my mental state went downhill. I missed home, but I couldn't eat my comfort food because of my GERD and appendicitis treatment. I cried my lungs out every night. As I was the type to hide what I was feeling, I didn't tell anyone that I struggled mentally, even my parents. But my roommates were so conscious about me. They took care of me a lot since I was just recovered from those 2 illnesses. And slowly but surely, I opened up to them about what I felt and they understood me better. I didn't have suicidal thoughts though, but they surely helped me to rise again. But those worst moments didn't last long. Not long after that, I volunteered to teach kids around 7 to 12 years old. I did it because I just like to teach, and I would like to give better education for those who couldn't afford additional courses. I believe we all have the same opportunity to gain knowledge, and it shouldn't always be from formal education, since sometimes formal education requires a lot of money. I was so lucky that my parents have spoiled me since I was little and I haven't struggled economically. So I want to help those who do. I found strength every time I saw their eyes sparkled as I taught them basic algebra problems. I was so touched by the fact that they are so eager to learn despite their condition. They are definitely going to make it someday. And to be honest, I helped nothing. I was there just to transfer my knowledge. And my life goal actually is to contribute something remarkable to the world. I definitely want to save so many people's lives by giving them hopes to be healthy, especially to those who doesn't have enough money. And by that, I hope someday I could be a biomedical mechanic and invent maybe some devices that are cheap and will be needed in the future to save patients' life. I want my life to not be useful only for myself, because I think by that I haven't lived as humanly as possible. I always enjoyed biology and mathematics in high school, so I think biomedical technique is suitable for me. Although my parents would like if I go to a medical school, I am so stubborn if it comes to my dream and the things I like. And after we discussed here and there, they finally agreed and supported me and my dream. Now, I am still on my process of striving my dream. I'm still learning, not only from my teacher, my school, but also from everything else around me. I believe someday I would look back at my old self and tell myself that I did great. Thank you.